Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening.
Did you
Hi.
did you get a new background again?
I picked a new background. I did.
You always have I don't know, maybe they're preloaded in Zoom now, but from the earliest times, like you had like an impeccable, like it's hard to tell if it's Memorex or real. That's the thing
Yeah.
from back in the day. Is it real or
hmm
Memorex?
Yeah. No, yeah, I got bored of the other one, so I decided to switch it up a little bit.
Mm.
So,
All
yeah.
right. Well, welcome. Thank you for showing up tonight and giving a little bit of bright light to the new students, but not so bright that we blind them, right? This is supposed to be like the
Right.
sun rising, and we're going to just show them a glimmer of what's over the next 12 weeks as they start to traverse. How did you find autonomy and how did you start climbing out of your everyday situation that like people were in situations and they didn't really think it all out, right? So people find themselves, they're in a job. How did I get here? And so you had some moments of clarity and you started to embrace education for yourself in a variety of ways, not just this course. And then you started to change, adapt, evolve, and naturally the cream rises to the top when you practice that excellence. I know that's a long lead in, but how would you phrase it?
Absolutely. Well, as far as how I got into autonomy, the guy who's not here tonight, but Joshua Hale, he's someone that I've worked with for many years, and it was interesting because I was doing some very, very part-time freelance work with him when during season one, and I remember he tried to get me in on season one, and I was like, I don't know what this autonomy thing is. Like, that's your thing. I'll let you do it. And then I watched him go through this transformation. So season two I got the offer again and said, okay, I've got to get in on this thing. And I was a breakfast waitress for 11 years. Truthfully didn't think that I would do a whole lot else. At the time, I just said, I'm making enough money to, get by. And, I still have some extra time to do what I want to do. But I did have one of my big dreams, big ambitions is I wanted to enter motherhood. And I figured, well, I want to be working from home. I want to be doing something so I can be home with my kid. And through autonomy, I feel like did two really big things for me. Yes, it did change my entire work life, just a lot of life, but it really transformed me as a person. Like I gained so much self confidence and realization that I could be independent, that I didn't have to just continue on with mediocrity my whole life. And so, through autonomy, I started learning more and more about copywriting, started getting more jobs. And kind of like how you mentioned at the beginning of the call, where, some people would, go through a season and not really participate a whole lot. That was me. Season two, I didn't unmute. I wasn't in the Q&As. I was just sitting in the background,
And you
just being
missed
my little,
out and you
I
figured it
did.
out on your own time.
Yep. Being my little introverted self, at the time. And so, I got to take everything in. But of course, I didn't experience a whole lot of transformational growth. And so season three, I really dove in and hit the ground running. And that's when a lot of things started to change for me. And so at the end of that season, I had my business license. I was only working, I think, one day a week at the restaurant, just holding on to that little safety net until COVID came and kicked that in the butt for me. And gave me the kick I needed to finally, quit the restaurant job and go, working for myself full time. So, got really good at copywriting. It's something I've been doing for many years. But there did come a point where I was feeling a little unsatisfied. And it was a little confusing at the time because I said, well, I've accomplished my goal. I'm independent. I'm working for myself. Why do I still feel misaligned? And that was when I met Ron. And I love that Ron was able to come on and, speak first and speak a little bit there because it really was that synchronicity of him and I meeting, through some marketing stuff. And at the time I was leading some small, low caliber accountability groups, in autonomy. And he offered, said, hey, I could give you some tips on how to do this better. And through our conversations, I just started to learn more and more about coaching and absolutely fell in love with this work. I mean, now I feel like I'm really aligned with what I'm supposed to do in my life. And so even though, copywriting and marketing I don't consider it to be my calling, but that was the path that I needed to take to get the confidence, get the right mindset so that I could pursue this new passion and this thing that I want to do. So coming full circle, I feel like now I get this beautiful opportunity to give back to you and this community that has given so much and changed my life. So here I am.
And I give you the credit to you, because you went from that wallflower stage to, I'm going to go and I'm going to make changes, actively make changes to my life. It's a scary thought for people, like, because it's a lot of self-responsibility. It's like you buy something from the factory and it's got all these switches and dials and it's all tuned from the factory. And we're kind of scared to like move those dials because it might mess things up. But you're going to have to like turn your education up and turn your care about what other people think about you educating yourself down and get out there. And COVID was a big kick in the pants to a lot of people, but we all had so much support from each other, and that in trying to navigate that situation and solve problems, all these other things. I mean, it just made us all stronger and really gave us a good occasion. Instead of just sharing memes, it's like we're sharing things on early treatments and research and all the useful stuff that came through that. And then by the end of that year, I think that's at the part where you met Ron. And we had just kicked, because I knew from the beginning that accountability was a major part of what's necessary, but you can't put it in the curriculum. It's an extracurricular thing. And that it was the piece that, a couple seasons in, if we just add this was the thing when I was, 22. If I went to this meeting every week and I made goals and somebody held me accountable to my self bullshit and to my excuses, then I can make massive progress. And it happened consistently. And then you learn, maybe you don't need that coach. Maybe you just hold yourself accountable and, be an adult, go through that adulting process, right? So it's more than just adulting, because there's all these other useful methods and tools and strategies and philosophies of how to think about things and what to worry about and why should we worry in the first place. Like if we either care, we'll plan some actions and schedule some tasks instead of sitting here running around, because that's what a coach can help you get out of your own way and overcome these obstacles. So it was just perfect timing. Leah knowing Ron and Ron coming in and we're working on this, and you had the open, like, you're like, I'm an empty teacup, fill me up. And he just poured in. He's like, I'm not, because Ron has no scarcity. His clients are so far beyond what we're all working. He's like, yeah, I could just, here's a bunch of wisdom. And then we had a whole bunch of people who needed that help right away. And so now scaling it and building it into the course and having the masterminds weekly for all the gold students and the VIP and the platinum students, they all get the accountability. I mean, I think that's just, those are the right speeds. The basic people starting out, it's overkill for them. A lot of cases, a mastermind's plenty, because you're going to start to recognize, oh, the people in my group, we all make the same excuses why not to make progress. And if we're together, that's a like mini light accountability. It's not one-on-one coaching or group coaching. It's a little bit different. So yeah, it's just been beautiful to see the growth from, you had such potential when you're waitressing, but without that access to knowledge, experience that you put yourself through, and the other people who can say, hey, I got plenty of skills and it cost me nothing to teach you some of these things, right? It wasn't a threat to Ron's business. It's not like you're going to go take his territory and what he does or disrupt his lifestyle. So that's the other thing. You're dealing with people, because we're more self-reliant and self-educating, we have less scarcity because we have more to give. We have more talent to lend to situations. Copywriting and these types of marketing, yeah, that's how you got started, right? But those are serious skills. And should you not want to do coaching, there's a lot of money in those other skill sets that you've already created courses on and these sort of things. So
yeah, and there's I know a good amount of people in the room. We're going to be getting to know each other intimately really soon with coaching and group coaching. So some of you I've already gotten a chance to meet. Some of you will be meeting in the next week. So excited for that. And honestly, and too, if there's other people in the room that didn't sign up for coaching and you're starting to maybe rethink a little bit, reach out to me on the forum and let's talk about how we can set some things up. It's not too late.
awesome.